right, so a quick redo. All right, so that was our, again, welcome to everyone. This is episode 25 of Eve Station Trading, and kind of caught us in the middle of already starting our discussions, starting with the Drake Navy issue, one of our call-outs from last week. Looked pretty good. I basically turned it over for 2 or 3% net profit. It's not bad. I'm down to the last one. I'm pretty sure you can see it here. Yep, down to the last one. It's kind of funny how it worked out. I flipped it for 201, 202, but then yesterday it spiked up to 234, and that was, but then it kind of got buried now. So I'm gonna keep it there and see what's up with that. Because it definitely was the the most competitive priced sell order yesterday. So I'll see what happens. Just let it sit there for a minute. All right, the next item is actually a whole slew of items. The improved enhancement implants. So that's the +5s. I actually turned over, well, not all of it, I don't think. I captured it already on buys, so that's good. That's one half the problem then. It's sitting at. It tends to actually naturally sit at around 10% difference or 10% margin, pretty consistently. Right now, it's not showing that for all of them, so if you're a little patient, you'll eventually capture it, to be honest. Yeah, so I captured this at, I think, 99, 98, and I went ahead and placed it kind of trying to trade through and just set it at 110. It's not even a full page, so I'm pretty confident now to get this. If not this week, definitely by next week. Maybe not all 10 all at once, but maybe starting to uh, chip away at that stock. Pretty possible. I mean, for the last, like 6, 8 months ago, I was calling this out almost every other week because they were just so consistent. And I because they are inherently an LP item, a very generic LP item. It's not like supply, there's a demand, there's an easy supply of them, so it's pretty well balanced of a consistent flipped item, to be honest. Actually, I think I only got this one in the memory, but let's see how the others look anyway. Yep, memory. Same thing with this one. I think I bought this at 99, 98, and then I'm trading through to match it at 110. It's a lot of sell orders at 105. It might take a while. I might have to adjust that. But I'll give it a 110, see what happens. I mean, there's, your orders last for 90 days, so that's fine. It's a long time. I don't need the money right now. That's fine. I mean, if you're comfortable, with 2, 3%, you can flip it right now. To be honest, there's hardly ever a time where these things are not flippable. To be honest. Same thing with this one. It looks like the buy orders are picking up, so I imagine the sell orders are gonna pick up to compensate for that. So I should be hitting my 110 sell orders realistically soon. Yeah, this is doable too. 100 to 1, even just right now, 100 to 107. 100 to 105, that's a bit slim. Yeah, that's a bit slim. I'd probably set it at 98. That's probably pretty doable within 2 days. Nick says those don't seem to sell in large numbers. No, they don't. They sell consistently though. These are one of the more popular. Considering their value of 100 million to sell 100 to 200 a day traded consistently, yeah, it's decent. It's decent enough for me, to be honest. I don't think I ever put more than 10 units of buy or sell orders at a time anyway. Trying to capture, let's say on the low ball end, 100 units traded per day. Trying to capture 10% of the daily stock. Yeah, why not? As long as your expectation is to actually not get that done immediately, but as a working stock of 10% and just have it just slowly dwindle down, yeah, that's totally fine. That's totally fine. I've worked with much more skewed volume before. The more expensive things get, the more skewed the volume tends to be, you know, and it feels like it's incredibly volatile, but really it's not. It's just the way it plays out because of the low volume nature of the item. Out of all of them, this one is the least action I've ever gotten, to be honest. The social. I'm not sure why you would use this. I'm not sure what attribute you're enhancing with this. Oh, leadership, I guess. 102? Ah, it's steep. I'm not gonna get that. No way. That's definitely an anomaly to have the buy orders over 100 consistently like this too. And there's so much, but at the same time, it's displaying less than a full page on sells, so there might be genuine demand, but not really. I mean, nothing really pops out. It is displaying definitely sell signals right now, but the way the orders are, the way the players are actually posting their orders, that's incredibly aggressive. I wouldn't do that. No way. Not for this. Not for this. Kind of reaching. All right, so those are our buys. For the implants, they're really less of hard buy calls, but more of they're in a trading channel. Take advantage of it. It's kind of the same thing, all right? Because you're buying and selling at the same time. So those are the buys that we called out from last week. Now we're going to go over our sells. The first set of categories, the really wide categories from last week. Advanced PI. They were just really showing sell signals all of last week. I'm curious to see if they've actually corrected this week. I don't typically double check these buys and sells since they're already calls they already made. We're just reviewing them. So I'm genuinely curious how this looks. Broadcast no still up. Wow, really? It corrected and then swiftly came back up. That's really strange. That's a good sell call then. That's a really good sell call. We would have called it right around here actually. So even if you had bought into this zone of, let's say, let's be a little bit generous. Let's say you got it at 2.3, 2.4, and you can sell it above 2.5. That's pretty good. Let's see if it's even flippable. Ah, that's tight. No, not that tight. You can probably get 2% out of that. That's okay. That's workable. Gita is very PvP, yeah. And yeah, I mean, it's just the nature of Because it's so saturated in Jita. I mean, it feels like it's a lot of action, but not really. I think it's just general saturation that gives it that perception, that look. All right, next one's integrity response zones. That's flippable right now. We'll go back to what the percentages are to see. Oh yeah, it's continuing to go up. Wow, that's an actual demand too. The volume isn't the volume is not showing the same level of aggression that the prices are. It's very outliery with the how wide the Donchain channel is. It's kind of scary. Nick, what about cheaper, larger number stuff, or you're sticking to last week's items? Um, so I always review last week's calls to see if they were any good. Then after that, we'll go into our calls for this week. For the most part, nothing really caught my attention as far as high volume items like meta modules or anything like that. But these items relative to their value are actually pretty high volume, to be honest. Things that are traded in the double digit thousands, even in the case of the P4s. So I mean, can you continue to sell this from last week? Yeah, they're still displaying sell signals. So even right now, actually, I'm not sure how long this is going to be able to support such a wide Donchain chance, such a wide range. But let's see what the flip potential is for integrity response runes. It's 12% difference, man, for integrity response runes. It's pretty good. I mean, so that seems too good. So what are the potential things you should probably plan for? I don't think it's sustainable for it to even sit at 3.3. There's no way. That Donchain channel is way too wide. It's such an outlier. It has the appearance of being such an outlier that I have a hard time believing that it can support that price. I'd be hesitant to actually buy into this, even though it's screaming, buy me, buy me, buy me. But I just don't think it's going to last. Unless you can truly babysit this order daily, or be able to have the ability to watch this throughout the day, this may be worth playing, but not as I'll set orders, in the evening, and then won't have an opportunity to check it again until 24 hours later. I wouldn't do this. There's no way. No way. This needs babysitting. Nano factories. It's still selling. Yeah, that's actually a really good call because we would have called it right here, and then it shot up. It shot up pretty good actually. This looks like it's gonna continue. It's got enough juice to continue going up. You have some suspiciously higher volume, and it's displaying it several days in a row. This would have been a great call over the weekend, but not right now. You kind of run into the it's kind of the same with this integrity response rule. So if you can afford to babysit this throughout the day, this may have value. But if you can't, that you might be putting yourself in a bad spot. It's tight 1.2 to 1.3. %14 before taxes. I'd trade this. I'd try to flip this before I try to flip the nano factors before I try to flip the integrity response runes. Nano factor seems to be a more conservative bet. For a guy that can only change their orders like 24 hours at a time. Jesus, even that's legit demand too. That's not even that's hard demand. That median is well above the 5-day moving average. Most of the action is centered on the sell side too. Wow. Why? Why? I mean, the only thing I can think of is these P4s. People are making them, but they're not making it to the large hubs. Like, you know, like if you live in nullsec, you're trying to farm your own materials. Basically, that's what it looks like. People farming their own materials, and not letting it escape into the general market. It's about time people start doing that stuff, man. If that's the case, that's good. That's actually really, really good. That's how it should have been. It's tough to make stuff like that happen, even though it economically makes sense, because of things like jump freighters. I mean, take it for what it is. You know, jump freighters isn't all positive. It makes things too easy to move around. It takes away from that natural ability to supply things, you know. It's such a cop-out answer to scarcity. Of course, it's different when you're moving like war goods. That's a little different, but just everything else, like it can move everything else. That's the problem. Let's see if this is flippable. Ah, too tight. No way. Nope. Nope. People are chasing it up. That's what's happening. People are chasing it up. So, all right. So let's play that out. So people are chasing this up. If it gets chased up enough and consistently enough, what could happen is it will establish a trading channel, but on the high end. Now, I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, but this is kind of how I'm envisioning the appearance of the chart's going to be based on how the players are like literally trying to chase up the price, like forcing it, like really propping it up. So you could see a trade channel maybe between 1.3 to 1.4, somewhere around there. Maybe at least lasting maybe 2-3 days. I think that's pretty possible based on the action right now. Can you use that to your advantage? No, not nearly as much as unless you were the guy who bought it here. If you were the guy who bought it at 1.15, you're sitting pretty. If you're the guy that's trying to capture it at 1.3 to sell at 1.4, it's possible, but your opportunity, for one, may not actually materialize, or if it does, it's probably going to be very short-lived. So good luck with that. Holy fuck, everything's up still. Everything is up still. Well, not even so much that everything is up still, we call it right as it's making the flip. So again, very similar to the other items that we called out. From last week, we would have called it out like right around here. And then it shot up. And it's got volume behind it too. So this is real demand. Nick says maybe the chasers are the producers. Danger. The chasers on the buy end? Is that what you mean? Is that, no, it would have to be the chasers would have to be the buy order people. I would hope that the buy order people are not the same as the producers. Then they're shortchanging themselves. Selling, yeah. The chasers are the sellers. Unless they're just constantly no, it's not even a matter of the sellers are the producers. They wouldn't have nearly as much control as far as how narrow the profit margin would be versus the buyers doing it. I can see what you're saying though, but the buyers would have more of an impact on that on that interaction. Okay, strange. This is actually super strange. Actually, this isn't genuine demand. This is a bit of a mania. On this, why? It's a lowball mania if it is. Same thing, man. Super tight, super tight, super tight, super tight. It's not even. It's not even. I doubt there's even any margin on this. Oh, there is. Actually, there is still. Holy shit. If you're comfortable eking out 1%, 1 to 1.5, man, it's too volatile to play, man. Like, for knowing my kind of like my emotional limit on these things, I wouldn't play this. If you have the balls to play it, you should play this. If you have the balls to play this, because it's playing high volume anyway. If you have the courage to play a high volume item to earn 1.5% or thereabouts per trade on added volume, you might have something here if you want to do this. If you have the courage. I don't. Nope. I'm gonna stick to the calls that I've been making right here. That's what I'm doing. Another one that's high. Oh my god. What is going on? Alright, we're going to go through the rest of these, but I think we've seen enough evidence to actually make a reasonable hypothesis. This is kind of scary, to be honest, but it kind of makes sense. So again, very similar. We'd call it right around here. Would the chart actually have looked like this with just this part cut off? No, not really. Next is avatar curves are mirrored almost backwards. Why would they be mirrored backwards? Why would they be mirrored backwards? Yeah, that's kind of strange. I usually see that kind of pattern between two. Well, reds is kind of. I would be more. Not necessarily concerned, but it would make more sense if that was being mirrored between, say, Jita and Dodixie. Rens isn't really a hub anymore. Like, Heck sees more action than Rens does. Like, truly, it does. Just is, you know. That's just Rens being Rens, man. That's the most oddball market hub ever. That's not really a market hub because it just serves. It literally just serves Amamaki. Strange. Yeah, it's just strange, man. Heck is better positioned. Yep, Rens is like buying into a mafia family. Yeah, man. Like, who's the number one customer of goods in Rens are literally the folks who live in and around Amamaki. That's it. That's it. Like Rain and her boys over there in Amamaki. So I was told them, saw her streaming this weekend. It was so fun watching her stream, man. It's like, oh, I'm just having so much fun there. It's like, and here I am just making show notes. Like, oh, God. Wish I was having fun in Eve. God. Alright, so it's a very similar pattern. It's probably too tight. This one's got a little bit more meat. A little bit more meat. A lot more meat, 14%. Why 14%? Those ranges, man. So I'm pretty sure you guys can see this, but this vertical line on each day. Typically, that's not that long. So this is basically the breadth of the completed orders for the day, and this one is the median day price. Like, the range is huge, man. It's like there's a buy and sell order fight happening for self-harmonizing power cores, and there's no clear winner. there's no clear winner that the profit margin basically just expanded. This definitely is the one that would be worth playing. The best one that would be worth playing for now. Let's look at sterile conduits. Same pattern. They're being bought up. That's definitely flippable. 1.5 to 1.7. 10%. Very flippable. And finally, wetware. Yeah, similar. Everything's up. So I hope someone was able to take advantage of the sell call from this last week. I really hope so, because I wasn't. I didn't have any stock to actually sell. And it didn't look that flippable from last week, but some of them, it looks a lot flippable now. So my hypothesis regarding these, so as an entire category, every single one of them, as of right now, are showing sell signals. But not just sell signals that indicate volume doesn't necessarily match up with the increase in price activity, which means people are just literally buying this from sell orders. But they're not necessarily, I mean, are they being bought and relisted? Hard to say. There's really no way that you can determine that from the graph. There wouldn't be. I don't think so. There wouldn't be. So is it just being relisted? If it's being relisted, the buy orders are chasing hard. On some of these, like the margins are basically gone. The buy orders have chased it up. Is that good if you're trying to manipulate it? Yeah, because then you could find yourself in a position where you can have a trade channel that's going to be above average, like what we discussed with some of these. I may be digging into this a little deeper. It could just be people just want it for refineries. Like, honestly, that's probably the best and simplest answer. People want it for refineries. But they're wanting it in such a manic pace. It's almost as if something changed with what their expectation of the refineries were. I mean, I know they became available for us to play around with at CC, but nothing really catches any of the information that I've looked at to make me think I must prepare now. Like, I've already been preparing, but I have to prepare even better now. Like, nothing comes to mind unless someone has happened to have data mined something, and now the actual answer is you thought you were ready to build. Now you really need to be ready to build. So we'll see. Hopefully something comes up. If you guys can let me know, if I'm at the right track or if I'm way off, or let me know, man. I think that's a really good discussion piece. All right, next one is we also called out Strunt. Called out Moon Materials all of last week. We called it at a sell. It would have been like right around here. It didn't have enough juice. That actually was a bad call because now it's showing buy signals. So bad call. It was too late into the sell signal than when we called it. It happens. And finally, all the isotopes. Let's see how it looks. Still a sell. Helium isotope. Hydrogen isotope still a sell. Good ozone flat as hell. Actually, not so flat. Dipped down. That's kind of weird. Nitrogen still trending upwards. Holy shit. Look at that. See, if I bought it from here, it would have been great. Oxygen is kind of flat. Oxygen is Galente, isn't it? Yep, Galenta. So no love for Galenta anything. No love for Galenta caps. That's sad, man. Everyone else is seeing action. It's alright. It's alright. Cool, so that's a review of last week. Pretty interesting with the PI, to be honest. Alright, so next thing, I just want to plug that over the weekend, me and Caleb and Apothony actually got back to Blue Horseshoe Club. I'm going to link that to you guys right now. So we over the week on Sunday we did Blue Horseshoe Club episode 8. We actually discussed like a whole bit of caps and the refineries and stuff like that. I just kind of want to bounce to you guys a comment that Apothony made. I thought it was pretty telling, and I believe the same thing, to be honest. We were talking about the moons, right? I think the lead up was I was asking about are you expecting a lot of volatility with the with the moon mining and the refineries? How there's gonna be this large scramble to plop the refineries? And Apothony kind of responded, I was kind of expecting a similar system, but basically something to the effect of it's probably not going to be as volatile as you'd think, because you'd imagine that the alliance leaders or the folks who are in positions of power have already arranged for how they're going to distribute the moons among themselves. Which makes a lot of sense, right? I mean, I think with as Eve develops and it becomes a lot more civilized, I guess would be the right word, and there's no need to needlessly go into conflict when you can basically diplo your way into an answer, which is basically what that is. All right, figure out how you're gonna divvy up the space in the moons, and then just take it from there. Makes a lot of sense, but at the same time, I mean, I was kind of that answer makes a lot of sense, right? But I wish it was not the case. I wish that there was going to be volatility. I wish that there was going to be a lot of conflict and just straight up dogfights to claim moons. But that didn't really make sense, especially with the way null-sec entities operate now. They operate like large companies, like in real life. You know what I mean? Next is, what about build materials for the moon stuff? As of right now, at least in CC, it doesn't take a whole lot of materials to build those refineries. Doesn't take a lot of materials, man. So, but then that's CC. That doesn't mean that it's gonna translate 100% into tranquility. So, it's a good observation, though. All right. So yeah, that was kind of a disappointing but expected answer. So moving forward, I should probably change my view of how the moon mining things are going to roll themselves out. There's probably not going to be big conflicts around moons. It wouldn't make sense, right? Because it's such a fundamental change, and as a whole community, the nullsec side of things, they just like, hey, let's just be civilized and in an orderly fashion, divvy this up, and then once everything settles, then we can go back to our conflicts or our kerfuffles, as a Apothony called the northern events there, instead of the northern war or whatever. It's the northern kerfuffle. So that's fucking hilarious. Apothony's fucking funny, man. All right. What else did we really cover there? Yeah, there was so many tangents we rolled into. It's pretty crazy. But I'm glad that we got restarted on Blue Horseshoe Club. Hopefully, we can get into a pretty consistent cadence with that. And because I think we're just about finishing up with the summer slump. things are coming together. And I guess folks weren't really expecting the refineries to be available when they were, a lot earlier than most people thought. And that leads into one of my investment opportunities that I've taken advantage. One of our operators actually has offered up it's a refining operation basically. He was looking for investors. I think what was he asking for? I think upwards of like 60 or 80 billion or something like that. But I gave up 5 billion on it, and I was glad. I was glad that he was actually so set up so early that he was able to take in investors already. And yeah, I'm just glad I got into the ground floor operation of someone's refinery project. I'm really curious as to how it turns out, and yeah, so that's what I'm really excited about. That and having removed that money already from my wallet and give it to somebody, like, okay, I can actually trade again, finally. So that's good. So it's a double-edged positive sword right there. Like I hope Moon Wars break out and people start buying ships and ammo again. I don't know, man. I hope so. I hope so. But there's not, unless there was a depletion mechanic on the moons themselves, there's no reason to ever have a moon war. Because you will know as a matter of fact what moon will hold what. And it's just a matter of either capturing the moon or gaining access in some other way. But without a depletion mechanic, it's too easy to prepare for them and basically develop answers that don't include you undocking and shooting things. Right? You can deploy your way into an answer if there is no depletion mechanic, which sucks. I think we found ourselves in this position where diplos are literally first line warriors. Our diplos are first line warriors. It's crazy. Yeah, I don't think it should be like that. All in Eve is not for resources, but destruction and fun. It's easy to say that, but in practice, that's not the case, though, man. It's not in the large scale of things in nullsec. It's not. Like lowsec, that's definitely the case because things are cheap. But not in nullsec where it's about the civilization building, right? It's about it. You know what I mean? It's civ in space. It's not so much dogfighting. It's dogfighting is that's just a means to an end. That's just the manifestation of the political wing of the alliance. Nothing more. But that's just nullsec being. This is the way it is. It's civilization building, man. It's society building. It's not the same as video games. Yeah, nullsec is nice. Yeah, I mean, it mirrors real life, man. It's like it's uncanny how it mirrors real life. All right. Also, last week we called out Nia Binen Planet 5 trade was at war with PanFam. I forget what it was. There was an item that it was like being monopolized or something in this one station, and it's still at war. It's still alive though. It'll probably be dead, but I imagine it should be coming up on the timer by next week. I would think so. But yeah, it's still up. Oh, hey, Rain. I was like, it's nice. Yep, sure is. I don't know. I want to know, man. I haven't lived in Null since. Even when I was with CO2, it wasn't really like living in Null. I was still. It was almost as if I don't even know why I bothered to find a nullsec alliance back then. I still lived in lowsec. It was almost as if like I did it because everybody else was doing it. I know that's terrible. That's a terrible thing to do. It's a terrible thing to say, but that's exactly why I did it. And everybody else was doing it. I should too. Be like everyone else. I hated it. I left promptly after like 2 weeks. All right, I think that's really it. And we'll roll into our. I'm pretty excited to talk about our picks for the week because I haven't talked about these items in a while. So I'm pretty excited they're actually back on the radar. So the first one is Macarials. Sweet, sweet Macarials, man. Macarials made me so much money in my history. So much money. So I managed to capture 5 of them already, and I already placed 4 back into sell orders. I'm calling this as a buy. Not because it's a buy at multiple fronts. It's a buy chart-wise. The moving average, the 5-day moving average is below the 20-day moving average. That's definitely a buy signal. And also from a flipping perspective, there's a little bit of meat on the bone. Yeah, you can probably make about 2% right now. That's not bad considering the value. Considering there's an incredible amount of volume on Macarial. To flip nearly 250 items or 79 daily orders here on an item that's $500 million. That's not a player service, dude. That's huge. That's huge. So Macarials are flippable. But if you want to play the longer game, I think you'll be okay with that as well. So I've made, yeah, I mean, even if I don't sell this, I'm actually pretty okay with that. Because eventually it's going to go back up. I captured this at a buy signal. It will have no choice but to re-enter a sell signal at some point. So I know I've already made my money. It's just a matter of when I can actually realistically cash out. So Macarials. Yes, please. Next one's rattlesnakes. Dude, rattlesnakes look so good right now. So good. So good. Would I act on it? I should. But I'm out of liquid. I'm legit out of liquid. Let me live vicariously through your buy orders, guys, and place some rattlesnake orders. Don't look at the prices yet. All right, so it's, so sell, buy, sell, and it looks like it's going back down. So just think of it as one extended trade range, right? One extended trade channel. Just think of it that way. Because the sell and buy signals are so narrow, it's almost irrelevant considering the actual value of the item. Now let's look at the item. Is it flippable? So it's at a trade rate. It's at a trade channel. Great. So we know the established highs, established lows. Is that a trade channel right now? This very instant. Yes. Yeah, it sure is. It's a little bit more generous than the Macarial, but right around the same range. Okay, 2 to 3%. For something that with this volume, I would totally do that. I would totally do that. It's consistent, dude. If I had the liquid, I'd do this. Just saying. All right, next one, Vexor Navy issue. This must be something to do with folks in Gal Mill basically being totally inactive, and they're probably just in cash out mode right now. The Vietnam actually looks pretty good right now. $63 to $68. Yeah, you're probably getting about 3 to 4% for something that flips. So anything Navy issue, like by Navy issue, so not pirate faction, but Navy faction, right? Like Drake Navy issue, Caracal Navies, Augurers, Stabber Fleet issues, things like that. Okay, it's very easy to capture it on buy orders. a lot of the orders ends up being like instant match 2-buy orders. Because I've been running missions like I'm like a crazy person. I got all this LP. I'm gonna buy a Vexor. I'm gonna trade in a Vexor Navy issue. I'm gonna slap that son of a bitch down into buys because I want the money right now. That's usually what happens. Because they've already done the work. You know what I mean? I mean, they've already done the mission. They've already done the plexes and stuff like that. They just want the fucking money. So a lot of them are, and a lot of times, when I do my faction warfare stuff, like the LP, they're just giving it to me. There's like, here's LP, do whatever. It's so easy to make LP in faction warfare. So a lot of times I wouldn't actually, when I try to search for items to trade, I'm not looking for things to actually place into sell orders. I'm looking for things to immediately drop into buy orders. That's the goal. So if you're flipping Navy items, as long as there's a healthy enough margin, there's a really, really good chance you'll be able to at least capture it from buy orders. A really, really good chance. It's just the trade channel that it's in. It's just evened out. That's all it is. Nothing crazy on volume. So totally flippable right now. I'm kind of surprised that it actually is flippable. I mean, Galente's sitting at, they bounce between tier 3 and tier 2 right now, so people in faction warfare are probably just genuinely cashing out. It wouldn't surprise me. People are just cashing out. Short of Kaldari, just straight up, just hard, just taking over, which I don't see that happening. Between Vexor Navy issues and probably the drone modules, you'll probably have a consistent source of LP exchanges just with those items. Yeah, yep. And drones probably. Besides the Vexor, there's not, besides the Vexor and the Comet, there's not a whole lot for ships that actually trade well. That trade well for Galente. Dank says, would now be a good idea to start mass selling my refugees and militants. I always have those. They're like, they're part of my fit. It's so cool to have those things, man. Those little funny little things. It's awesome. I wish they actually had real value. I wish they were actually a material for something. You know what I mean? Or a reaction or something like that, you know. Or I don't know. That sounds pretty morbid. But I wish there would be uses in the future for all of the items to include the NPC items. I think that would be good. Even if it's something just silly, or they could be reprocessed into something, make them reprocessable back into carbon, but have carbon be a legitimate material for some builds, something like that. There's a conflict going on. Dag says there's a conflict going on with CO2 and Test, so I might hold them out to have them serve on the front lines of battles. Yes, please. That'd be awesome. Hopefully something happens with that conflict. That'd be great. Not just a kerfuffle, as Apothy put it. If they tied in the Dust 514 remake. Oh, you know, because that is coming out, isn't it? Actually, even before that, non-VR Valkyrie. Super excited. Super excited. Non-VR Valkyrie. So I'm not about buying hardware. No. I'll buy the game though. Yeah, for sure. They said, well, if we kill them, become corpses or organic mass or whatever, we can be converted to stuff. Yeah, you know, corpses should really be part of the production line somewhere. It should, because it is like, you know, there's that's stuff, right? That's stuff. Yeah, I was into Dust myself too, Dank, and I was like, I love it, man. Like I'm a really bad shooter, but I enjoyed Dust. I thought it was still fun, even though I was a really, really bad shooter player. Like I'm just bad at shooting games, you know. But I just still enjoyed myself. All right, so those are all our buys, guys. Carriel, Rattlesnake, OG calls, OG calls right there, in the VNI. All right, next one, sells. This is kind of I called these out yesterday, but I think I'm down to like soft calls on these. The Pith A type small shield booster. I used to trade the shit out of this item, but it just dropped in value so much. Like a lot. So these are Dead Space items. As far as the boosters, shield and armor, obviously the smalls get the most action volume-wise. Okay, we're calling this as a sell, even though it's actually been trending downwards and downwards and downwards, but it's finally picked up. So it looks like it's developing a rather wide trade channel. How long it's gonna last? I don't know. I mean, probably a while. Looking at these, it looks like when it trends, it really trends for a while there. It's probably because not just the nature of the pricing, but more of its inherently low volume. That is if we can remake. If the remake came out on PC like it should, 100% I'll play it. Yep. Yep, absolutely. Me too. I would play the shit out of Dust or whatever they end up calling it, and Valkyrie. As long as it's PC, not VR. I'm down. Pith A type, I'm calling this as a sell. I'm calling this as a sell because not so much of the incredibly increased value, but more like it's entering a trade channel. That's like a buy or sell, to be honest. But just know that it's entering a trade channel. There's flip possibilities. Well, can you flip it right now? I think you can. Yeah, 12% difference. Totally flippable. So Pith A small type shield boosters are flippable. That's so rare. That's so rare. I might actually play this. I think I will. Next one's the Corpi A type. This is a bit of a wonkier chart. So this is the armor variant. Also Dead Space. Very, very similar. But unlike the longer trends of the Pith, this one had a really hard floor of just shy of 50. But it's definitely displaying sell signals, so that's pretty neat. So 49 to 56. It's kind of similar, you know, it's entering a trade channel. 13% before taxes, totally doable. So Pith A type, flippable. Corpi A type, flippable. And finally, this just caught me by surprise. Holy shit. Like, I don't even know who would have this in large stock right now. If you're out there, you're making out right now. You are absolutely making a killing. Augur Navy issues. Out of nowhere. Like, why? I have no idea. Before we look into this, I just want to see what the faction warfare piece looks like. Amar only has 3. I mean, I don't know. It's just running away, man. Absolutely running away. The volume isn't too big, so this is like people legit capturing this from sell orders to use. Why the sudden demand on this? I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, it's pretty plain. I mean, oh, Ace Man, what's up, man? If someone can shed some light on why there's such a very large demand on Augur Navy issues, let me know. I'm not getting it. But let's see, this is legit flippable, like big difference. Lose at 15% before taxes, man. On a faction cruiser, Navy faction cruiser, when the other faction cruisers don't even see that kind of margin. No way. So if you could act on this, or you have stock, or you have Amar LP that you want to cash out, dude, cash out on this. Cash out on this. Cash out on Augur Navy issues. I wonder how bad this is gonna the price gonna retract next week, if it even does. If it does it, then people are legit using this as doctrine. I don't know for though. I don't know who, but or why. There's better choices, I'm sure. But this could be a nice cheap alternative to something. Maybe that's the play. It's a cheap alternative to something. Probably that's probably a CBA nerd. Ah, really? But it's just like it doesn't seem that strong, man. You know what I mean? Like I would. Why not get a hack? Why not a hack? Armor hacks. You know how they like the MR only doctrines. True. That's legit, man. Yeah, but armor hacks, man. Come on, like CBA's not poor. You know what I mean? No, they're not a bunch of poors. I mean, they could afford armor hacks. Just saying. All right, cool. Well, that's really all I got, guys. I don't have anything extra. Actually, just one quick thing. So I'm gonna link it real quick. I made my first market type video for Albion. I'm pretty happy with it. It actually caused a lot of discussion in the comment section. It's the best type of PvP 11 Albion, man. YouTube comment PvP. It's the best. So that's my first market-related content for Albion, and I intend to actually do something similar to what I do here with you guys with Eve Station Trading, but in another game. So that's gonna be the challenge. Because believe it or not, most games don't have the level of in-game visibility that we have for markets like here at Eve. Believe it or not. So that's gonna be the thing to overcome. So yeah, I'm if you guys are familiar with the work of Christopher Mellon, how he does the minor metrics, I was thinking of actually doing something like that. Short and sweet but frequent videos. That's kind of what I was going for. Dang, says do BDO AFK fish market. Dude, I can't get into BDO, man. It's so that fucking game is so confusing. Like, there's way too many systems in play, and it's like everything is like poorly translated or something that should be like better communicated to the player. I just it feels so there's just way too much shit going on. I can't get into it. I have the game, I just can't get into it. So yeah, I'm gonna start probably either next week or the following week with doing something like Eve Station Trading, but with Albion. We'll see, man. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm a little hesitant that I'm not gonna be able to have the same level of the ability to just show things on screen. That's a big thing. So I may have to resort to, like, God forbid, like spreadsheets. I'm gonna have to like find a way to actually present that in a more approachable way besides spreadsheets, to be honest. Yeah, but that's the goal. So it's pretty cool. But if anyone out there, if any of you guys actually play Albion and wanna do that show together or have the ability to participate, because I intend to do definitely at least once a week, but I really should go for at least 2 or 3 short, like 5-10 minute videos a week. Much in the same spirit that Christopher Mellon does his minor metrics. As I think that's the perfect format for something like Albion, simply because there's no market history. In a game where there's no market history, I think short, frequent updates on how the market is doing is going to be very, very helpful. So we'll see. Wish me luck. Hopefully I don't get too much hate. Because I've got some really wonky questions on my last video that I linked to you guys. I'm like, all right, comment PvP. Got it. Let's go. Or just having to correct myself constantly, I guess, you know. But that's something I need to take constructively. So I failed at communicating that better when I was showing the video, basically. So I need to do better than that. All right, well, I think that's really all I got. We just cracked our 1 hour mark here, guys. So very much appreciate you guys being here. And as always, I'll push this out to YouTube tonight. And looking forward to some of the items, like basically all the items that we called out this week. I'm really looking forward to seeing that next week. Because if the prices don't reverse in some way, this is the beginning of probably some long trends, because whatever trend is developing now, it's probably got something to do with the updates. And whether I realize it or not, that's probably, at least on some of them, that's probably the case. All right, so I'm really excited to actually school myself a little more on that. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, guys. I'll see you all again next week, and hopefully I can keep you guys updated on the things that I do, not just in Eve, but also for other games that I want to play. Much like any other gamer, it's more of just me trying to gather as many friends as I can to play the games that I play. That's really it. All right, thanks, guys. I'll see you next week.